Everyone wants to see. Hey y'all, it's Dana with Sullivan Family Homestead, and I'm just gonna do a semi-quick follow-up video, an update video rather, of what we've been up to in the last few days. We haven't had a video because we've been super busy, and so anyway, one of the things that's changed, as you can see, is that the greenhouse door got a facelift. We've taken the plastic off of the door and put mesh and chicken wire on. So the bottom half of the door is 1/2-inch hardware cloths to help keep predators out. And then we've got chicken wire on the top half. And this helps us out with airflow because the greenhouse is kind of rough for airflow. It didn't really have any. And we had plans of adding windows and doors, and it just didn't happen, and we ended up not using the greenhouse like we expected to in the first place this year. But we have plans of what we're using it for over the course of this winter coming up, and so the greenhouse as a whole is going to get a facelift, and it's going to get shored up a little better, and it's going to have Tough-Tex panels put on it, and we're going to get rid of this crappy plastic. So you know, plastic is great and it works in a pinch, but I'm telling you what, up here on the hill with the wind the way it is, it's just not working out as well as it could and should. So anyway, there's that. As you can see, the pullets are doing really well about their job, and let me back up a little, and they're clearing out all of the grass and pretty much anything living inside the greenhouse, and they've really enjoyed their little coop, and they're getting big enough that I can start turning them out in the yard to free range. As you guys know, if you've been watching our channel, we have some hawks that live literally right at the edge of our property, and so I don't want to turn them out without supervision, because, you know, it doesn't take anything for one of those hawks to swoop in and snatch one of my babies. So anyway, they're in here for now, and we're trying to get a little at a time and get them let out a little bit at a time, but we keep a pretty close eye on them because we don't want anything bad to happen to them. The coop is still doing really well. The electric fence is great, or the electric wires rather. It's not really a fence. But the deer fence, which is what the actual fencing is, it works really well. It seems to be doing great. The feeder is still doing really well. No complaints. The chickens are getting plenty of feed, and it's staying dry, which is the ultimate goal. And the water is just that bucket with the nipples on the bottom. And for the 9 chickens that we have in there, that works out really well. Now once the pullets move in, we're going to have to do something bigger than that, of course. Maybe, honestly, just a couple more of those buckets, because we really like them and they do really well. So there's that. So my mint is doing really well. This is all leftover from last year and the years before. I started out with just one little plant in each of the boxes, and it's literally spread throughout the whole thing, so that's great. As long as it stays in the boxes, we'll be good to go. This is a lavender plant that I thought we had killed in our move, and it turns out that it is really resilient, and it's doing well. It's picked back up, and it's got some new growth, as you can see, and I imagine that I'll be able to transplant it very soon. I'm thinking that I'd like to do a little lavender field at the front edge of our property where the driveway is. So it's just something really pretty, and you know, lavender is really good for a lot of things, but it also brings the bees, which is really good in itself, but not for a girl who's really allergic to bees. So I want to do my part, and I want to bring in the bees, and I want to give them something to work with, but I want to keep me safe too. So the lavender goes down at the front end of the property so that it's not so close to the house and we can all live peacefully. So this is our garden. You guys have seen the raised bed videos, I'm sure, so you know how we built them and all that. We've got strawberries in these two here, and then we have different varieties of potatoes in those on the front end, and these two are being saved for our sweet potatoes. And then we've got potatoes in the first two buckets, and the peanuts, which you guys probably remember in one of our other videos. The peanuts are doing really well, and they're planted in there. So as you can see, they're doing really well. Our garden is looking amazing. I'm so excited about the garden. It is 25 foot by 50 foot, which really isn't all that big in the scheme of things. But as you guys know, this is our first garden here in East Tennessee, and so I'm trying really hard to rein it in and not get over crazy or overzealous. So we've just got a few plants of each of quite a few different varieties of things. We're trying out what's going to work here in East Tennessee and what's going to work for us specifically and what's not. I've got my giant pumpkin and giant watermelon. You guys saw the video for those. Getting started rather, as seeds. So as you can see, it's kind of condensed in here, but I think we've got enough room in between each of the rows that we should be okay. We don't have a whole lot of stuff planted, but we've got a little bit of a few things. So there's the pumpkin and the watermelon. And so hopefully they do okay. They got a little bit of heat day before yesterday when they were being transplanted. So they're looking a little bit rough, but they're starting to pick up again already. So I'm hoping that we didn't stun them too bad and they'll be okay. So even though it's raining a little bit today, it's that beautiful kind of rain that I've talked about before, and it's not cool, it's not warm, it's comfortable out. It is absolutely beautiful. And even though I'm kind of getting a little bit wet right now, I'm absolutely loving being outside today. As you can see, all of the flowers, or at least all of our flowers, are in bloom or are getting ready to bloom. The irises are doing absolutely amazing. And my rose bush is really taking off. So I was excited to see how it looked in the springtime. As you guys know, we've not been here long enough to see spring. So, but look, as you can see, it's got a lot of blooms on it, and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. I am super excited about it. The rest of the livestock are doing well. The horses are good. The goats are good. The rabbits are good. The chickens are good. Everybody's good. Oh, and the ducklings are good. They are loving being outside. And I'm going to tell you, I am loving having them outside. If you guys remember, I think in my last update video, I had mentioned our apple trees that we had just got. They're coming up really well. They're getting a lot of growth on them, which is wonderful. And it looks like, look at that, our first apple blossoms on them. Oh my goodness. The apple blossoms are beautiful. This one has not had blossoms on it, but there's been a lot of new growth, a lot of new stuff going on. The pear trees, or no, sorry, the plum trees, these two little ones here, They had a lot of really pretty blossoms on them earlier, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and they looked absolutely gorgeous. They were full up with blossoms, and they've got a lot of new growth as well, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Matthew's been trying to trim up some of the trees. The pear tree has gotten a little bit of a facelift. The other apple tree over there, it's a little too late to trim it up until the end of the season. We'll trim it up later, probably early fall. But these trees were really rough looking when we got here. They were super full and in desperate need of thinning and trimming. So we're getting to them little bits at a time, and unfortunately we don't have the time to do every single one of them in the same weekend or whatever, but they're coming along great, and they're going to be absolutely wonderful very, very soon. So everything is coming together well, and we really enjoy y'all stopping by. Thank you so very much for coming by, and if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the little bell, and give us a thumbs up, and feel free to leave a comment. What are y'all planting this spring for your garden? What you got growing and what you got going on? Thanks so much, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.